The best thing about film is someone can watch one and love it, but someone else could hate it. Is that ripped from a negative Letterboxd review I wrote for Silver Linings Playbook? Maybe. Is that because I've been super unmotivated to make videos for the past month and really haven't been in the mood for anything? Maybe. But who the hell cares about that? Let's get into some controversial shit.
I'm sick of all the streaming from your bitch stuff. If you had told me then I wouldn't be so pissed off. And I always wonder why the kids at school just poke fun. Do you think that maybe that's...
I honestly can't even remember that much about it to quickly review it. I love Wes Anderson and have enjoyed all of his other films that I've seen, and this is his highest rated one, and I simply did not enjoy it. I just didn't find the plot to be interesting, and the performances were just subpar despite a cast of great actors. I just think Wes was kind of relying on his wonderful signature style. Maybe I'm just biased because the director of this is a disgusting piece of fucking shit and there's a switch in my subconscious telling me not to like it, but I just don't think it's that good. It's not necessarily bad, but I just think it's a bit overhyped. I don't think it was very good at building tension, as the story was very predictable, despite what my Blu-ray says, and therefore the psychological element didn't work. I also believe the acting is a bit meh, as most people were theatre actors in this era and therefore didn't know how to act naturalistically in front of a camera. I just think that there are films like this that have come out since and have done a far better job. I revisit a lot of films that were prominent in my childhood after not seeing them for a very long time, and a lot of them turn out to be really bad. I was surprised when this held up when I rewatched it a couple of months ago. I think this film is really hit or miss depending on if you find Mike Myers in the catsuit disturbing, which I don't. Therefore, I'm able to get into the really well written self-aware comedy. Mike Myers honestly really sold the role and knew exactly what the film was. Little Dakota Fanning and the boy aren't that great, but hey man, the production design is pretty cool and this film succeeds in what it's trying to do. The consensus seems to be that Hot Fuzz is most people's favourite Cornetto film. It's actually my least favourite out of the three. It's still one of my favourite films of all time, but Shaun of the Dead and The World's End are just more personal to me, and I also feel they have better writing. Hot Fuzz is simply just more of a coherent blast with a funny concept. While I'm talking about my boy Edgar, I might as well say that I think Baby Driver is quite overrated, as I was quite disappointed when I first saw that. It's often hailed as the best film he's made, and I don't think that's true at all. In terms of writing, I'd say that's Shaun of the Dead, and in terms of direction and editing, it's Scott Pilgrim. In my opinion, they're tied at number 1. This is supposed to be the best rom-com? What the fuck, guys? I really did not like this film. I think Billy Crystal delivers a few comedic lines of dialogue well, and there's one scene that I thought was relatively clever and funny, but other than that, the film isn't very special. The whole film is based around the idea that men and women can't be friends because sex always gets in the way, and when Billy Crystal said that in the first 10 minutes, I laughed as I figured that was ironic, because, you know, haha, men are disgusting horny pigs, I get it. But no, the writer of this film, who I was shocked to find out was a woman and not a 40-year-old man who had gone through 3 divorces, actually believes that, and the whole film just comes off as fairly misogynistic to me, and therefore it annoyed me. Also, the 2 main characters are quite unlikable, and therefore I don't care about the story. It just really pisses me off, because when will Hollywood learn that men and women can simply just be friends and have purely platonic relationships? Like, what the fuck? Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love The Handmaiden. That's one of the spiciest films I've ever seen, and I watched the extended edition, which is apparently worse than the theatrical cut, but the other films of his I've seen aren't that good. The Vengeance trilogy is quite boring in my opinion. Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance? I can't really talk about that because the subtitles on Prime had a huge delay, so I didn't really understand what was going on, but what I did understand, I didn't like. It has a very basic rich people bad message. Oldboy is also the same. Rich people bad and poor people are oppressed. I feel that Oldboy is incredibly overrated. Cited as one of the best foreign language films, I think it is just slightly above average. It feels like Park was still trying to find his voice and didn't really know what to do or how to do it. I also thought the story wasn't that compelling and the action isn't even sensational like I'd heard. Sympathy for Lady Vengeance is pretty good. I really liked the editing and the story is more captivating than the other two, and while the slow pace works for the film, I think it could have been sped up a little. It's really not that crazy, guys. It's not that mind-bending. It's not that intricate. Kinda overhyped, and also I find it weird that this 20-year-old woman has two love interests that are about 60? I wonder if a man wrote this, maybe? I honestly prefer this to the first Raimi film. Like, I get more enjoyment out of it. There are obviously glaring issues with it, like how Peter is kind of a dick, and there are some stupid plot conveniences, but I really like Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone as individuals, and they worked really well together. I personally love the suit and the action scenes, as well as some pretty funny moments, and I like the relationship he has with Aunt May in the film. I won't even go into detail because I am not equipped to do so, as after the 90-minute mark I stopped giving it my full attention. I have the Criterion Blu-ray, so I will definitely watch it again at some point. It wasn't even pretentious. Tarkovsky himself has said that he thought symbolism was a shallow way to make art. I just found it boring. I don't get it. People talk about how funny this is, and I personally did not find it as hilarious as most people have. People also seem to think the dialogue is really smart. I didn't think so, and it doesn't help that Winona Ryder and Christian Slater give poor performances. Also, I thought the plot was kinda stupid. Okay, I should add that I don't consider A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one at least, a slasher film, as that is one of my all-time favorites because it has far more going for it other than being a simple slasher. House on Sorority Row, however, that's where it's at. This film isn't filled to the brim with unnecessary nudity and sex scenes, so it has that going for it, so, you know, it's already above every other horror film from the 80s. And the direction is pretty good. It's quite psychedelic and trippy. I also think the story is really intriguing, and the performances are good considering it was likely a bunch of college kids. Overall, a pretty stimulating and impressive film. I stayed away from him for a while because I'd heard about the way he treats women and didn't really like that. But then I finally caved in anticipation for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I was very disappointed. I've spoken about 5 of his films in a different video, so I won't repeat myself, but essentially, I think Tarantino sniffs way too far up his own arse. Is it fair to say that he sucks? Objectively? No. Is it fair to say that he sucks toes like the thumbnail suggests? Yes. I like the message and idea of the film far more than the film itself. I love sort of character study films like this, but this was just really dull. I thought Garfield was admirable and I quite liked the cinematography, but it's just 3 hours of slodge that could have been less than 90 minutes in my opinion. I'm talking about it being objectively good, by the way, which it is, but I think it's often highly acclaimed due to the impressive practical effects, because it really isn't scary and the writing is quite bad. Like, come on man, there's only a single person in the London Underground? Yeah, nah fam. Also, I find the relationship between the protagonist and the nurse to be ridiculous, and there wasn't much chemistry. But it's a fun film. Not only did I enjoy it more than all of the Ghibli films, but it is objectively better than all of the Ghibli films. The score is fucking amazing and the writing is incredible, and oh my god, if you haven't watched this film, just fucking watch it, it's beautiful. white rich old dudes are just really fucking dumb. Like, come on, do I even need to explain myself? Talking about Academy Award Best Picture winners, Parasite isn't even remotely good. Like, what the fuck? I have to read while watching a film? Films are supposed to be relaxing so I can escape the fact that I never learned how to read. I'm not supposed to study it. Yo, what the fuck is that?
Christ, how many fucking...
Oh no. Watching a film that is critically acclaimed and that people love universally and not liking it is so scary to me, because I have to ask myself, am I stupid for not getting it? Is everyone else stupid for pretending to get it? Or is this purely just not my thing and therefore I'm obviously not gonna like it? I think it's the second one, obviously. No, I'm kidding, clearly. You can like whatever the fuck you want as long as it's not harming anybody. I think it's genuinely amazing that people can enjoy films that are objectively bad and not even like them because they're so bad it's good. They just like them. I have a close friend who actually unironically enjoyed Truth or Dare, which is my favorite so bad it's good film. I also have a friend who not only made the conscious decision to watch Cats in the cinema, but they legitimately liked it. That's so cool. They're not my friend anymore, obviously, because any future film criticism I would give would be invalid. So, you know, I had to cut them up. I had to cut them off. Yep. That's what I said. Cut them off. Yep. Cut them up? No, sir. That's really not funny, is it? Look, just let people like what they like, and if you don't agree with them, you don't have to start an argument. Oh, did I mention that I believe Endgame isn't that great of a film?
Right now I'm so anxious, I'm lightheaded. My eyes red, it's so cold in my bedroom. I froze solid in my bed. I'm so anxious, I'm lightheaded. Can't see straight, I fell out of your headspace.
I have a few more unpopular opinions that I could say for a future video, but one that I wanted to say but thought would be weird as I'm bunching it together with a bunch of films that I believe are either under or overrated. I think women are just better actors than men. Like, I just do. I'm not sure why. To me, they just are. When I think actor, the first man I think of is my boy Jake Gyllenhaal at number 3, and when I think good performance, I don't think of a male performance until after thinking of my boy Brie in Room. They just seem better at conveying emotion to me. Is that because men are told to bottle their feelings and therefore it's harder for them to act? I don't know. Maybe. We really do be living in a society, folks.